I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast. Stay tuned. Peace, and welcome to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is the Cultural Variety Podcast show, and I am your host, MISHUMA SABA, M.SABA, and this is our Cultural Variety Podcast show. How y'all doing today? Today is September 25th. 5 more days before October. Or is October 3rd? October's actually 31 days. Okay. So you actually got 7 more days before October 1st. How y'all doing today though? You know, it's a beautiful day today. It was 73 degrees out. Um, that wind is here though, and it's definitely telling you that it's fall season here in the Twin Cities, and that it's time to start getting that coat together. Oh yeah, absolutely. Getting that coat together, getting fall fresh, you know. Tell me, what is your favorite season? You know, here in the Twin Cities, here in Minnesota, we have 4 seasons. And that's one of the little jewels of the state is that we give it to you. We have winter, spring, summer, and fall. You know, um, I like winters as far as just being in the house watching movies or reading books or rubbing on a body or something. You know what I'm saying? But my favorite seasons is spring and fall. You know, in the fall time, I love throwing my boots on. Um, you know, I love rocking my boots. I love rocking something nice. Uh, you know, and I'm a sweater guy. You know what I'm saying? So I do enjoy rocking sweaters. You know, tell me what your favorite season is. Go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know you're here. Welcome to Coffee Talk. You know how we do it. And listen, um, you know, go ahead, pour yourself because it is kind of getting toasty out there. It's getting kind of cold. Go ahead and pour yourself a cappuccino, some wine, some water, uh, some champagne, a beer. I know y'all watching football. Whatever you do, but come on in, kick your feet up, and enjoy our humble home here at Coffee Talk Podcast. All right, listen, it's Cultural Studies Night. And before we begin, I definitely want to just say a thank you for tuning in to the show. Monday nights, Sunday and Monday nights, alternate nights, we do cultural studies night. So tonight is cultural studies night. And as you know, our culture is so broad. So, it switches up every Sunday and Monday. You're getting some type of flavor from us. But tonight, or should I say this? Let me just always back up because I know that we're getting new viewers each and every episode. So if this is your first time tuning into the show, we never start the show without giving it this flavor, as well as some wise words to set the mood. You know what I'm saying? So today's flavor here at Coffee Talk Podcast is actually black tea. And why black tea? Some may ask. Well, black tea, the benefits of black tea is that black tea plays a role in preventing cognitive decline, as well as inflammation, heart disease, diabetes. It lowers the neural cognitive disorder, which is also known as dementia. So, yeah, tonight's flavor is black tea. So, if you don't get none of those things that I've mentioned earlier, go ahead and make sure you pour you some black tea. Keep the windows cracked for that nice cool breeze, and enjoy your Sunday evening. And definitely enjoy Coffee Talk Podcast. You know how we do. All right, so tonight's flavor is black tea. And instead of just jumping into the wise words, usually when we do the wise words, we always have a quote from one of our people, whether it's a doctor, a scientist, a scholar, an actor, our ancestors. We always have a quote, usually for the wise words. But tonight, we want to just jump straight into what we call our story. And so we want to give a big salute, much respect, much gratitude, tip our hat to our story. And our story begins in 1966, this story that we're speaking of. And it should be celebrated today, October 1966. Um, some people say it happened around the 25th. I don't know the exact date. All I know is that the day that this group got together, this party, was in October of 1966. And it's no other than the Black Panther Party. So this is a holiday that we should be celebrating other than the holidays that we tend to celebrate growing up. You know, a lot of our people would love to celebrate their culture, but it's so big they don't know what dates or what. So that's why we here at Coffee Talk Podcast to give you that, that self esteem, that empowerment, that energy to be proud of your culture. And tonight for our story, like I said, we want to tip our hat and salute the Black Panther Party who went into creation in October of 1966. What did the Black Panther Party stand for? Well, they stood for. Um, well, one of their initiatives was to patrol the streets of Oakland from police brutality. You know, so back then they would take shifts in certain corners that they would command to protect our black youth, our black families, our people, just in that community because that community was heavily bombarded with police brutality. You know the stories of California, uh, the Rampart scandal, all those type of situations going on, and so in the '60s there was a party called the Black Panther Party. This Black Panther Party would branch out, creating aid and programs for children and families throughout the United States in major cities such as San Francisco, Oakland, Chicago, New York. Black Panther parties. The party was actually active from 1966 to 1982. So if you're doing an essay this coming week, or you just want to read a little bit more during this month of October before the month ends, go ahead and study the Black Panther Party. The Black Panther Party was actually created by Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, and a lot of things got established with the Black Panther Party, even the creation of the WIC programs, which allowed women to make sure they was getting the proper nutrients as far as food and Pampers and all that for our kids, to take care of kids in the home, especially during that time because that time was very heroin affected and crack affected uh, in those areas. You know what I'm saying? So big shout outs to the Black Panther Party. What's your thoughts on the Black Panther Party? Did you ever see the movie? Thought it was a great movie. Trying to think of the sister's name right now, but I can't think of it. But she did play in the movie, and I just can't even think of it right now. And I would go search it, but I don't even want to waste y'all's time. You know what I'm saying? With that part, it's not really a waste of time, but but I would say this, man. Make sure you check out the movie Black Panthers. More likely, you can go on YouTube and find that movie, or you can go on any of your platforms, find that movie. But check out that movie. If you ain't doing nothing else tonight and you're looking for a good movie, you getting ready to eat dinner or whatever, or you just getting ready to, again, to pour yourself something nice, uh, and you're still up with the kid, maybe, watch Black Panther Party. It'll be definitely a joy, and it'll be something that can create conversation just within your homes. So that's what I would suggest. And it's a feel good story. You know what I'm saying? So again, Black Panther Party, our story today, October 1966 here at Coffee Talk Podcast. Now, I want to jump right into an African proverb that is also part of the wise words tonight. And this African proverb stuck out to me, so I really wanted to go ahead and use this also as the wise words before we get into our story for tonight. Um, the wise words come from safarijunkie.com. It's an African proverb, and it goes a little something like this. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I'm going to say that one more time. The African proverb is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, then go together. All right, all right, all right. So if you're just tuning in, this is Coffee Talk Podcast, the cultural variety podcast show. This is our cultural studies night. On nights like this, what we typically do is we like to talk about our doctors, our scholars, our scientists, our ancestors, our people. We also are influenced by a past show that was out in the 80s called Reading Rainbow with LeVar Burton. It was Reading Rainbow and LeVar Burton that helped birth this type of show, man. And this is the new media 2022 and beyond, where we give it to you in with this much flavor. You know what I'm saying? We give it to you with cultural studies. Wednesday night we give you sports, and then Friday and Saturday we like to go ahead and just give you a night of enjoyment, laughter, humor, and the whole nine. But again, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast. Now we're gonna go ahead and jump right into the story. It's a great story. It's called Dividing the Cheese. And what I want you to get out of this is I want you to just take your time, listen to the story, and tell me how it may uh I want to say regulate. Is that the right word, people? How it resonates. I'm sorry, that's the correct word. How it resonates with you or any person you may know or any character you may know uh, in your life. So tonight we're going to be discussing, or I should say, reading, dividing the cheese. It's also an African folklore, and that's what we're going to bring you here tonight on Coffee Talk Podcast. Let's go ahead and begin. Dividing the cheese. What is dividing the cheese about? Well, it's when the monkey cheats the cats out of their cheese. They've gotten just what they deserve. Let's listen to the story. Two cats stole the cheese. Neither thought the other would divide it equally, so they agreed to ask the monkey to do it. With pleasure, said the monkey. He sent the cats to fetch a scale. Then he got out his knife, but instead of cutting the cheese in half, he made one portion larger than the other. He put both pieces on the scale. I didn't divide this quite right, he said. I had just evened it up. The monkey began to eat the cheese from the heavier side. As he ate, the heavier side became lighter than the other piece. Then he changed over and began to eat from the other side. The cats, watching their snack disappear, said, We've changed our mind. Please let us have the rest of the cheese, and we will divide it ourselves. No, a fight might arise between you two, and then the king of the animals would be angry with me, said the monkey. And he continued to eat, first on one side, then on the other, until all the cheese was gone. Yeah. Think about that. Dividing the cheese. That's right. Dividing the cheese, ladies and gentlemen. So did what stood out to you as we read that small tale? There was two cats who stole some cheese, right? They stole some cheese together, but they were so silly. They thought each one wouldn't divide it up equally. It was untrustworthy. So instead of just coming together, uniting, building equality, working together, feeding each other, they decided to ask someone else to do it. What does this story, how does this story resonate with what's going on in the Black community today? It seems that every time we have issues, instead of taking it upon ourselves to try to resolve issues in our community and in our village, we go ask the monkey. See, we get caught up in the cheese. And with the chase of trying to get the cheese, we put up what we call a defense mechanism, a defense shield. And although you down with somebody for the caper, you're down for somebody to build the business, you still cannot trust your brother or your sister. So we have this defense towards one another over what? The cheese. Why can't enough be enough for both of us? Why can't we support one another? Why we can't let one of us win this first part so that when they win, they could pull us up? We don't strategize like that. We carry the traumas of seeing untrustworthy situations that done occurred in our childhood as well as adults. So we create our own fear, not just in our mind, but in the physiology. I don't want to pass the ball to him. I don't want to pass the ball to her. Or I don't want to share the information to him. I don't want to share the information to her. I don't want them to get what I want. And why did they get what I deserve? So we go to the monkey and we ask the monkey, who don't care one way or another about our problems. This was a good story. I almost want to read it again because I really want you to take tonight's story and I just want you to reflect and think of ways that we could solve issues amongst whatever issue you may be going through. Go ahead and leave a comment about the story, how it may resonate with somebody you know, maybe something you're going through. But I'm gonna tell you what, because this is cultural studies night and I'm feeling great, and I want my audience to be feeling great because you come here for this type of day to relax, hear beautiful poems, beautiful stories, beautiful things about your people. I want to go ahead and read it one more time. Let's go ahead and do it. Dividing the cheese. Let's begin. Two cats stole a cheese. Neither thought the other would divide it equally, so they agreed to ask the monkey to do it. With pleasure, said the monkey. He sent the cats to fetch a scale. Then he got out his knife. Excuse me. Then he got out his knife, but instead of cutting the cheese in half, he made one portion larger than the other. He put both pieces on the scale. I didn't divide this quite right, he said. I just have to even it up. The monkey began to eat the cheese from the heavier side. As he ate, the heavier side became lighter than the other piece. Then he changed over and began to eat from the other side. The cats, watching their snack disappear, said, "We've changed our mind. Please let us have the rest of our cheese, and we will divide it ourselves." "No, a fight might arise between you two, and then the king of the animals would be angry with me," said the monkey. And he continued to eat, first on one side and then on the other, until all the cheese was gone. May you have enjoyed tonight's story. May this be something that you can think about as you enjoy the remainder of your evening. I would like to thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast. I'm going to hit you with the universal peace sign, and then I'm going to let you know that we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in to Coffee Talk Podcast. This is the Cultural Variety Podcast Show, and I am your host, MISHUMA SABA. M. Saba. This is the Cultural Variety